It's time for the penultimate race of the weekend, race 38. It is the senior Rotax final. Let's have a look at the starting grid. Sean Butcher starts from pole position, and alongside him will be Tommy van der Stroys. Mark Kimber and Kai Gillerts round out row number 2. Jaden Teen and Matthew Higgins round out row 3. Zombor Kovac and Sebastian Bach round out row 4. Completing the top 10 from the UK and France, it's Lachlan Robinson and Mika Barthélemy. Lewis Gilbert and Elia Papacena round out row 6. Colin Vajny and Frederik Zevis Christensen, row 7. Austin Lee and William Haugstand, row 8. Nolan Emery and Caden McQueen, row 9. Paul Forquemin and Ethan Jeff Hall round out the top 20. Completing the 36-strong grid, it's Arthur Robin, Fahim Mega, Mitch Haynert, Leon Zelenko, Archie Walker, Mario Sidler, Petla Babichkova, Devian Horst, Jaden Pope, Dion van Verven, Sam Bergstein, Christoph Sala, Kai Hunter, Vic Stevens, Miska Kaskinen, and after being excluded through a technical disqualification, Maxence Bouvier starts from 36th and last. Oh, and I see who Roger Young is cheering for at the moment. Hello, Roger. Back watching again. He's cheering on both Sean Butcher and Mark Kimber. They start on the inside on the front and the second row. Oh, dearie me. 9:01 has just gone off. That's William Haugstand of all the places. And you can see there's a lot of moisture on that cart. And he's trying to get that thing started again, but he's sitting in it. The tyres are wet. And what's more, that may not be going anywhere. So, Sean Butcher leading the way. A few dramas along the way as well. We've had a few drivers. That was Maxence Bouvier that went off, and the Frenchman is no longer competing in this final, having started from the back of the grid due to a technical disqualification post the pre-final. But Sean Butcher got the right getaway. However, he's being reeled in by the quintet behind. He's got Mark Kimber just behind him, along with Jaden Teen, Zombor Kovac, Tommy van der Stroys and Kai Gillerts. In 7th position looks to be now Lewis Gilbert, Lachlan Robinson and Matthew Higgins. They round out the top 9. The 10th position is in the hands of Mika Barthélemy from France. Caden McQueen now up to 11th position. Elia Papacena, Ethan Jeff Hall, Sebastian Bach, Kai Hunter running at the top 15, and Kai Hunter started 33rd. Now Gillet sweeps to the outside of van der Stroys through into turn number 6. He looks to get to the inside as Kimber Tries to go towards the outside part of turn number 7 to try and defend against Jaden Teen, but try and also get past Sean Butcher in the process. And now Gilbert, Robinson and Higgins are there. 9-way scrap for the race lead. And we've only just gotten started. Hillett swings to the outside, gets the undercut on Kovac. And now Kimber is now starting to gesticulate. Butcher is trying to defend. Fredrik Zevis Christensen not taking any further part of this race. Unfortunately, the Dane spinning out at turn number 6. Hillett's trying to do the same to Jaden Teen as he did to Tommy van der Stroys, and Jaden Teen anticipated it. Down into turn number 7 they go. And we're down to 34 drivers. It was William Helgstrand who actually was the one that was... Oh, and a bit of a clumsy move there from Zombor Kovac. That has allowed Lachlan Robinson to get through. Lewis Gilbert has just been passed by Kenny McQueen, and there's a bump between the pair of them. And Kenny McQueen was past Gilbert. Gilbert went into the side of him. And the 913, running with RS competition this weekend, drops down a couple of places. So Kenny McQueen drops down to 11th, but the person that's really on the move, and he's setting fastest lap after fastest lap, but now there's been a change for the lead. Kimber out in front, and there's a touch between Hillett and Jaden Thien. Oh. And Hillett is now going to have to wait. Oh, dearie me. Thank goodness he stayed off on the runoff area, did Hillett, because Zombor Kovac was trying to get past Jaden Teen. And all of a sudden, it just goes to show that you try and make one move, and it just can horribly go wrong when you've got that close style pack racing. It's not what you need. And Butcher is now back in the lead of the race. And it was just the slices of touch right front to left rear between Hillett and Teen that sent the 374 from Belgium off the circuit. But 4 karts now in contention. 9 minutes and 17 seconds still to go. Butcher leads. Kimber second. Van der Stroys, the youngest of the quartet, in third, followed by Lachlan Robinson. Now Zombor Kovac is factoring back into this. Hillett has rejoined. He's down in 14th. There's still time for him to make his way up the order. There's a little bit of toing and froing a little bit further back, just outside of the top 10. As Lachlan Robinson has got past. Tommy van der Stroys now up into P3. Zombor Kovac is not too far behind. There's Lewis Gilbert. There's Jaden Teen. Mika Bartholomew past Matthew Higgins for 8th. Rounding out the top 10, it's Ethan Jeff Hall. Elliot Papacena and Kai Hunter are not that far away either. I've just spot there is Ethan Jeff Hall. There is Kai Hunter. Folks, the ride's about to start getting bumpy. But Butcher still leading. Hunter has got the fastest lap of the race, 54.084. As now Kimber goes for the move up the inside of Sean Butcher. Robinson sees the door open as well, and he's slipstreaming behind Mark Kimber. And Robinson up into second. Kimber now takes the race lead. Still, after the best part of over 6 minutes of racing, 34 drivers still running at the moment. Zombor Kovac sends it up the inside, takes 4th away from Tommy van der Stroys, but van der Stroys back through, well, tries to get back through, and now it's a fight. It really is going to start intensifying. Mika Bartholomew is just behind Jaden Teen. And I see Matthew Higgins up to 10th now, or down to 10th now, because Kai Hunter up to 9th. Hillett's now up into 11th. So we've had a problem for Ethan Jeff Hall and Leon Zelenko. They've dropped to the bottom of the timesheets. So it could be that both their weekends are at an early conclusion. Kimber now in the lead. Robinson, Butcher, Kovac. 5th, it's van der Stroys. Gilbert in 6th. And I can tell you now is, oh, Robinson Robinson with a late lunge up the inside coming out of turn 10. Got through on the inside of turn number 11. Robinson now leads as we go on to lap number 9. And look at that train. Top 10 covered by 1.6 seconds. Top 14 covered by just over 2.2. Incredible stuff. And now it's getting a bit feisty. Matthew Higgins up the inside of both Jaden Teen and Kai Hunter. Robinson leads them through into turn 7. Kai Hunter now up into 8th. And oh, Miska, no, is that Kai Hunter? That is Kai Hunter. He is out of this race. Oh dear, such a comeback. He started from the inside of the penultimate row of the grid, and Mark Kimber's just had Zombor Kovac, Tommy van der Stroys, and now Lewis Gilbert up the inside, heading into turns 1 and 2, coming out of the final corner. And now KR Sports, they've got a 1-2. Kai Gilletz is in 7th position, but he has got clear air. He will now start pushing with 5.25 minutes still on the timer remaining. But with just under 5 minutes to go, Lachlan Robinson now leads the race for the first time since last season. 0.174 separates him and teammate Butcher. Kovac in 3rd. Van der Stroys, Gilbert, Kimber, Gillerts, Stevens, Papasena, Forquemin. Kaden McQueen again staging another comeback. He's now up to 11th as Butcher looks for the move up the inside through turn 6 on Robinson and gets the lead back. Lap 10, and still the fastest lap of the race being held by Kai Hunter. He's out. I think Mika Barthélemy is going to be out as well. Ethan Jeff Hall, Leon Zelenko, Frederick Zebis Christensen, and Maxence Bouvier out of the race. We are down to 30 drivers. If you thought the first 10 minutes were intense, the next 4, plus an additional lap, could be even more dramatic. Gilletz has now closed in on the 2 in front, which is Kimber, who sends it up the inside of Van der Stroys. Gilletz now tries to go on the 3-1-1 from the Netherlands, looks to the undercut through in turn 3, now through turn 4. Brilliant anticipation from Kai Gilletz up the inside of Tommy van der Stroys to take the position away. And that was through turn 4, using the curbing to help rotate the kart through and carry the momentum as well. But 4 drivers at the sharp end of the field who recovered last lap by just over 8.5 tenths. A change for the lead. Robinson and Butcher are working together. Now it's KR Sport versus Kraft Motorsport at the front of the field. Kovac and Gilbert. There is Dion van Verven, the youngster from the Netherlands, out on the spot after what was a very, very difficult weekend. He was in the top 15. But Robinson leading the way. Just over 2.5 minutes to go. Gilbert goes up the inside of Kovac. Through turn number 6, there was enough room, and both simultaneously adjust the radiator flaps coming out of turn 6 to exactly the same point. And Kovac now decides to go up the inside of Gilbert, but can't get the move done. And then just behind them, there's Kimber, there's Gillerts, there's Van der Stroys, there's also Vic Stevens. Oh, this is going to be an absolute crescendo as Gilbert round the outside of Butcher through turn number 12, has to wait for another opportunity, but he carried the momentum through, and now the Slipstream Fest begins. And that is an 8-kart train who were covered by 8.5 tenths of a second. We've just completed lap number 13, and there's still 1 minute and 42, plus an additional lap still to go. Vic Stevens now tries to go up the inside, and he points to Tommy van der Stroy saying, right, let's go get him. Robinson hanging on. Butcher in second, Gilbert third, Kovac, Kimber, Hillertz, Stevens, Van der Stroy, and look behind, there's more joining. For Quemmen's going to be in this. It could be the top 10 in contention for the victory. Robinson still leads. We're going to have 3 more laps to go, including the one that we're just about to go on. Gilbert again, trying around the outside of Butcher. Is it going to work this time? Not quite. And if they say if at first you don't succeed, try again. But time is running out. Butcher sweeps wide, and that opens nearly opened the door for Robinson to let him through. And Butcher is about to go through. He slipstreams past, down the Europalan past Robinson, as Gilbert gets past Kovac. Kimber there, waiting in the wings in 5th place. And now Kovac returns the favour, and he bumps into his teammates, and that allows Mark Kimber to get through rather easily. Van der Stroy's also not too far behind the duo of Lewis Gilbert and Kai Hillertz. 2 more laps remain. Kimber now up the inside of Kovac for 3rd. And it's Butcher and Robinson, the purple of KR Sport, leading the way in a 1-2 formation. Timer has expired. And now there's an absolute swarm of senior Rotaxes trying to battle for position going into turn 7. And there has been an incident at turn 7. 2 karts off the track. One of which might have been Vic Stevens. But Butcher and Robinson make their way down to turn 10 at Cafe Corner for the penultimate time. Lap 16 about to be completed. Butcher leads the field onto the 17th and final lap. Gap between the pair just over 2 tenths of a second. Now, this might be I know for a fact that these two have racing respect, and I can see that Robinson is trying to go for the win. Butcher will defend. Robinson will attack. There are no team orders at this point. Robinson round the outside of Butcher down the Europalan for the final time. They are millimetres apart. Butcher gets the inside line going into turn 7 for the final time. A brazen opportunity from Lachlan Robinson nearly gifted him the win. But at the back of it, right behind them, Mark Kimber's on course for P3. But you know what? It was one opportunity for Robinson, but Butcher is going to make it round the final corner. It's a 1-2 for KR Sport. Sean Butcher and Lachlan Robinson share the spoils. Mark Kimber takes P3 by just over 1.5 tenths, and that is brilliant. The great camaraderie between Sean Butcher and Lachlan Robinson. And Sean knew for a fact that Lachlan was going to try something. He let him go for it. It didn't quite work out, but you know what? That's a great result for the team led by Ash Orchard, Jordan Chamberlain, and all the crew at KL Sport. A great result. So Sean Butcher wins. Lachlan Robinson, his first podium in a very, very long time. Good to see him back on it. Mark Kimber third, Zombor Kovac, Lewis Gilbert, Jaden Teen, Kai Hillertz, Tommy van der Stroy, Kaden McQueen, and Francis Nolan-Lemeray round out the top 10. Elia Papasena, Miska Kaskinen, Fahin Mega, Austin Lee, Vic Stevens, Matthew Higgins, Colin Vajny, Devian Horst, Mitch Haynett, and Archie Walker round at the top 20. Paul Folkwemin, Sebastian Bach, Petra Babichkova, Mario Sidler, Sam Bergstein, Christoph Sala, and William Helgstrand from Denmark ran at the 27th and finished all 17 laps. Arthur Horbat retired on lap 15. Lap 14 for Jaden Pope from GKS, with Dion van Verven out on lap 11. Kai Hunter, Mika Barthélemy out on lap 8. Ethan Jeffhall and Leon Zelenko out on lap 6, with Frederick Zebis Christensen out on the opening lap, and Maxence Bouvier not even getting past the first sector. So 36 drivers went into battle. A bit of a drama for William Helgstrand in the early goings, but the Dane would manage to get the 901 Tony Kart chassis back onto the circuit and rejoin the field. As the remainder of the field got into the tram lines, the revs rose, the lights went out as Sean Butcher and Tommy van der Stroys led the field into the opening couple of corners. Everyone was jockeying for position early, going through into turn 2 with 3-4 wide at points up and down the order. But then there was a moment for Miska Kaskinen from Finland, who had a difficult pre-final, and it wasn't going to get any better in this particular occasion. Mark Kimber would storm his way past Sean Butcher, and so would Jaden Thien in the early goings. Kai Hillitz would also factor in the early part of the race. But then this moment here, where Hilitz's right front wheel touched the left rear of Jaden Thien, put Thien in the air and Hillitz off the circuit. Hillitz would then have to wait for the field to go by and then had to get quickly out of the way, as Zsombor Kovac was definitely on an attacking spree. Mark Kimber then would take the lead. Lachlan Robinson would also factor in, and they would both slingshot past defending champion Butcher going into turn 7. Then the train started to expand as Kimber led Robinson, Butcher, Kovac and van der Stroys, and then there was this move here that saw Robinson take the lead off of Kimber. And there was also this moment here, the 914. Mika Barthélemy launched one driver up, and then also Kai Hunter caught in the crossfire. Jaden Thien would also be demoted a long way down the order. After such a great comeback, the 19-year-old from Sunderland completely infuriated. Dion van Verven was the next casualty a few laps later on lap 11 as the 377 walked away from the CRG chassis. Then the fight really started to begin with 4 minutes to go. Lewis Gilbert tried 2 attempts around the outside of Sean Butcher around the final corner, but could not make it past the Brit. And even Zsombor Kovac thought, well, there's no team orders, I might be under the same awning, but I'm going to go for the move. He tried to move up the inside of Lewis Gilbert, but then Sean Butcher retook the lead from Lachlan Robinson as Gilbert and Kovac and Kimber rounded out the top 5. Then the jockeying for position began. Going into turn number 7, there was this moment here, a big bump for Tommy van der Stroys, courtesy of Vic Stevens, who then went into one of the other drivers, and that was the 904 of Paul Folkwemin. But Lachlan Robinson and Sean Butcher, teammates, but still, when there's 1 lap to go, you're going to give it your all. Robinson went towards the outside of turn number 6, but Sean Butcher kept himself on the inside line. Great racing respect between the 2 teammates at KR Sport, and Butcher would then go on to win the race, and it was a formation for KR Sport, who took home a 1-2 in the final.